Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today. So today I want to talk to you about something that is actually a conversation I've had with probably, a handful at least of clients this week. Just this week. It's Thursday today. It's something that's going on for quite a few people, and just made me kind of think that since it's something that's common even just in this season of the year, it might be something that a lot of other people might be experiencing. And so I wanted to take some time and talk to you about it and see if you are experiencing this. Maybe it'll give you some things that will help you, and honestly, it will help you understand someone you know that might be going through this. So in this season, when we talk about the holidays, like usually it's something that's really exciting. And, people are looking forward to certain things, whether it's family gatherings or, trips or just the weather changes or, decorations or gifts or whatever. And so there's a lot of joy that comes around this time. But for a lot of people, this is a time of year that's actually really, really difficult. So, there are lots of reasons for that. For some people, it's difficult because the holidays are maybe not a great time because they've endured a loss. And so having a holiday, or some kind of celebration that's missing that person is really difficult. For some people, it's just, maybe loneliness. They don't have someone to celebrate it with. But I'm not so much talking about that. I'm talking about the season of the year and a lot of people that experience a certain kind of depression in this time of the year. So, if you've ever heard of the term seasonal affective disorder or SAD, basically it's a type of depression that it takes place seasonally, right? And typically it's in the kind of fall to winter, like kind of the October, November, December. For some people, it's in the spring, but more often it happens in the fall to winter. And it's, for some people, it's attached to, the time change, the weather change, it getting cold, getting darker earlier, getting darker longer periods of the day. And for some people, it's not so much just related to those things, but it's just kind of a combination of things that amount to just feeling those lows and those blues. And for some people, it's mild. It's just kind of like a winter blues. But for a lot of people, it's an actual diagnosis of depression that only happens seasonally. And so throughout their year, they don't struggle so much with depression. But in this season, they do, and it reflects all the symptoms or many of the symptoms of depression for some people. And so it's something that, like I said, I've had a lot of conversations with people recently about, and it's just this, for a lot of people, it's this feeling of like, I just don't feel good. Like for some people, I'm just like in a funk and I'm not motivated to do anything. I don't have energy to do anything. For some people, it's more where they just feel really unhappy and they don't know why, or they're not excited about anything. They're not looking forward to the, Christmas or any of those holidays, and they don't know why. They just feel so down. They don't want to decorate the way they usually do, or they, never want to decorate while everyone else is happy. They are always sad. And for some people, it's even simpler than that. It's just like, I don't feel like really getting up, getting ready to leave the house. Like I'm staying around the house more, maybe less energized to go to activities with other people or go exercise or anything like that. And there are just so many things that I could give you examples of what people go through with this. But the idea is the feeling of some kind of sadness, some kind of low that has kind of crept up over the past few weeks. Today is December 1st. So, in the fall weeks, and it just kind of gradually built. And then for a lot of people, it's taken a deeper turn since daylight savings, since the time has changed, since it's not as fun to go outside because maybe it's colder, it's gloomier, there's less daylight hours, and so you don't get to go do some of the activities that you did maybe when it was warmer and sunnier in the summer or whatever. And so people don't have that drive. And so for some, it's that behavior change that I don't want to do these things, or I don't want to go out and participate in things. And then for a lot of people, it's that plus or just an emotion, just a feeling of discouragement, a feeling of, something is not right. I don't feel good. I'm unhappy. And so I wanted to bring this to you because I want you to just kind of think about if that's something that you're going through. It could be a really, really mild version, or it could be something that's more severe. And it could be affecting some of your life some of the time, or it could be like just a cloud that's covering everything in your life right now all the time. And so if you are experiencing this, we're going to talk a little bit about what you can do about it. And then if you are not going through this, I want you to maybe think to yourself, is there anyone that you know, anyone in your life that seems low right now, seems down, when that's not usually their demeanor or their mood? And so maybe just kind of roll this around in your mind, ask yourself, is it possible that this is something that they're going through? And if so, is that someone that you want to reach out to and just say, hey, I learned about this thing that happens sometimes. I noticed that you're a little bit down. Is this something you're going through? Or maybe you don't bring that up and you just try to kind of support them in a different way. But so let's talk about what you can do. And you're welcome, do some research about this if you feel like it really resonates with you, but you want to learn more about it in the technical terms. It is an official diagnosis in the DSM for counseling, psychology, psychiatry. And so definitely you can learn about it. But the things that I've been really, like the kinds of conversations I've had with clients about it this week, it's really kind of centered around first, trying to understand, okay, well, what else could be going on? Is there something happening that may have brought this on? Is there something that you did or experienced or missed out on that really made you sad or you were disappointed about? Any kind of loss? Like, is there anything bigger that's going on that could explain the mood shift more than maybe just a seasonal depression? And if you go through that and there's really nothing big, like nothing has seriously changed, but your mood has changed, then okay, then at least we've ruled out some more serious things. And now let's look at if it's seasonal. So after you rule that out, you want to really start thinking about your routine. What are the things that you used to do when you didn't feel this feeling? What was your day like? Did you used to wake up at an earlier time or a later time? Did you eat better? Did you exercise? Did you have a better routine for getting dressed and getting your face and your clothes or whatever ready to leave the house? Did you have a better schedule throughout the day? Like, how did you used to run your day, and what have you noticed has changed? Like, are you all of a sudden having a hard time getting up in the morning? Are you snoozing a lot more? Are you not really hungry for breakfast? Are you running late because you took forever to get ready? So if there were some of those changes, or if you stopped going to the gym, stopped exercising, really stopped, maybe doing a habit that you enjoy or a hobby like reading or going to a class that you like or whatever, if those things have changed, it'd be really good to just look at that and say, okay, how do I get that back on track? I don't want to, I don't feel motivated to, but I know that when I wake up at this time and I get myself ready in this way and I eat this breakfast, it starts my day off in a better way, and I kind of feel better that those things are done. I feel a sense of accomplishment for checking these things off my list or my mental list or whatever. And I don't have this guilt over, I slept in too late and I missed on my workout class, or, I looked at myself in the mirror and I, didn't take care of myself at all and now I feel bad. So by getting those routine things done in the morning, that starts your day out right. And it just kind of helps create that, the, like I said, routine, but also just the structure, I guess, that will lay the foundation of your day. And then, carry that on, carry it through your day to see, okay, what are the things that I used to do that now I've just kind of dropped the ball on, or I don't find myself motivated to do, and what can I do to try to get myself back into it? Again, the fact that I feel this depression means that I'm not going to want to do it. It's going to be a fight. What can I do to try to motivate myself? Is this something where I need to talk to someone who can help me be accountable? Do I need to go to therapy? Do I need to get on medication? There are a lot of people that will get on antidepressant in this season of the year, just because it does create a chemical change in their brain that no amount of changes in routine or behavior are going to touch. And so for some people, adding a medication or a vitamin or something through the conversation with their doctor can help boost that mood and get you leveled out again. But if you've explored the medication or the therapy talk and you've decided that you've gotten that taken care of, or you're not going to do it, then the focus really does have to be on how do you self motivate. How do is this a time where you need to start creating a to-do list that you follow? Do you need reminders on your phone? Even if you typically don't need that in other parts of the year, but because you struggle right now, what do you need to add to your routine to help you be more successful? What do you need to change in your day, even if it's a new habit or a new part of the routine that you didn't have before, but adding it will help you feel better. Keeping in mind that you won't want to do these things because you feel bad or you feel depressed, but knowing that it's what you have to do because you have to get through this to the other side. Your alternative is to just be unhappy and miserable for the next few months, because the reality is when it's seasonal depression, you will come out of it. And seasons will change, and time will change of the day and daylight and all that, and then you will, if it is a seasonal thing, you will come out of it. But in the meantime, what are you going to do? Are you going to just feel miserable, or are you going to try to help yourself? And we are all responsible for ourselves. We're responsible for helping ourselves. It would be the same thing if sustained some kind of physical injury. You broke your foot. Well, you're going to have to change your lifestyle. You're going to have to change your routine to accommodate this temporary disability. And you could just whine about it and be miserable in your attitude, or you could say, well, I have no choice. I have to use crutches and I can't put pressure on it, and I can't, I'm going to miss out on the ski trip or whatever that I was going to do. Like, life sucks sometimes, but you're going to have to adjust. And if you have seasonal depression, that sucks, and I'm sorry, but you're going to have to help yourself. Do all of the things that it takes to help yourself. Because one of the things that I run into when working with people is we're all guilty of this, but sometimes because we don't want to, we don't feel like we can, we just sit in that. We sit in the kind of spend our time in the misery of it, or in the kind of the victim mentality. We feel bad for ourselves because we don't feel good, and then that in and of itself makes it worse. That creates a deeper issue, because now you're just like wrapping yourself in that depression blanket and just letting it consume you, and you just have to make a decision that that's not an option. No one can do that for you. No one can snap you out of it. No one can tell you that you need to change. You have to do that for yourself. And anytime you're dealing with something chemical, it's not easy. It's a struggle. And if anyone tells you to just snap out of it, unfortunately, they don't know what they're talking about. You probably shouldn't listen to them. It's something that's chemically happening in your brain, and that there's only so much you can do to control that. So you have to manage your behavior. You have to manage your mindset. And then you might have to look at medical options for that extra support. But you're also going to have to figure out, if you are avoiding taking care of yourself, then you have to confront that and say, you know what, I have been feeling bad, and I have been feeling sad and just a shell of myself, but I'm going to try today. I'm going to try to do something different about it. I'm going to talk to someone who can maybe call me in the morning and say, hey, I know you're struggling, but let's go, get out of bed. Hey, put your makeup on, do your hair, brush your teeth, put your deodorant on, whatever it is that you're struggling with, because you don't have to do this by yourself. And, thankfully, the conversations that I've had with clients about that this week, we've been able to identify, based on that person's life and what they've got going on and who they are, specific goals that they can try to incorporate into their day. It's not going to be a perfect system. It's not just going to go away, but it is a step-by-step plan to help each person through their day. And when you get through one day and then the next day and then the next day, then now you haven't had an awful week like you maybe did last week. And maybe that rolls into another week that's not so bad, And so you start taking control of that season and control of your mood. Some days will be harder than others, but you can't stop trying. You are responsible for taking care of that within yourself. And I want you to walk away from this kind of ready to try. And if you're listening to this and you're like, oh my gosh, I've just listened to this lady for 15 minutes talk about something that has nothing to do with me, I don't feel this, then you know what? It's just something that you can put in the bank in your mind where you're like, well, if I ever run into anyone who's struggling with this, maybe these are some tips I can give them. But I think we all know someone who gets a little down around the holidays, whether it's seasonal depression or sadness for something else. We all know those people. And, it's just good for you to be aware that if you run into someone, you interact with someone who isn't as chipper as you are, maybe they're not just grumpy, maybe they're going through something. Maybe they have seasonal depression. Maybe they lost a loved one around the holidays, or maybe they're facing the holidays without a loved one for the first time. You have to be considerate always of the fact that other people are going through things that you don't know and you don't understand. But, we could all, even, I don't struggle with seasonal depression, but there are definite things that the time and the change in, daylight savings time, that it does affect my mood. It annoys me that when I leave the office, it's dark, or when I'm, wanting to do something on the weekend with my family, we have to work around certain times of the day because it's cold or it gets dark early. Like, it's annoying. Thankfully, it doesn't cause depression for me. It does for other people. So, it's just also important. Like, I can take away from what I'm saying that I'm going to, I have to continue to just get over the fact that it frustrates me and be creative and finding other things that we can do. And I'm not the kind of person that likes the cold. So I just have to brace myself for it differently and, wrap my head around the fact that I might be uncomfortable. But you know what? I'm thankful that I get to go inside to warmth afterwards. Whatever, that's such a simple example for me. But for someone else, it goes so much deeper and it's not easy to talk it away. And so, I want you to consider, what does this season do for you? Is it all joy and happiness? Or is there some part of that that's not so great? Or is it fully bad for you? And if you've never connected the dots that this is a season that brings about a change in your mood, I hope that this helps you make that connection and just helps you realize that there are other people that go through this. It's very common, and that there's stuff you can do about it. Read up on it, try to understand it, but mostly be mindful of the fact that your mood has shifted without your desire or control, but you have to try to course correct. You have to try to add things to your day that help you. You have to try to take care of yourself. You have to try to do the things that will boost your mood, even if you don't have a desire to exercise. But if you know that starting your day out in the morning with a workout typically helps you have a good day, you're going to have to push through. There's no other option. You're not just going to wake up feeling better. You have to force it. To roll yourself out of bed, and you have to work out because you know yourself and you know that helps. If your thing is that you have to eat, and if you don't eat, you know that you're lethargic and tired all day, or if you know that you need to call your friend on the way to work because every time you do that, it makes you feel good. All right, work it in. Come on, you're responsible for that. So please don't ignore the things that will help you. Please don't brush this aside. Yet you can make this season easier for yourself if it's something that you struggle with. So I hope that this gives you something to think about, and I hope that you kind of walk away feeling like there is more that you can do if this is something that you struggle with. And if there's someone you need to reach out with that struggles with this, you can be their support too. There's never a limit on how much you can kind of check on other people and make sure they're okay too. So thanks for listening, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. All right, bye.